Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The state government is facing more turmoil tonight, with another MP resigning late today. Long-serving politician Reen Hidding announcing he's stepping down in the wake of serious allegations. Our reporter Louise Hedger is following the developments and joins us now. Louise, good evening. How did Mr Hidding respond today?
Rachel, he responded with a statement announcing his retirement late this afternoon. Mr Hidding says he's devastated by false and malicious allegations that have been made against him through the media. He says they've been made in the context of a long-term bitter dispute within his wife's family. Now, we can't go into those allegations, with Mr Hidding threatening defamation action. In that statement, he says he has nothing to hide, but to deal with the allegations appropriately, he's stepping down from politics after 23 years. Late this afternoon, the Premier held a media conference. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I would urge that caution around these circumstances be exercised and that proper process be allowed to occur. Mr Hidding is, of course, also entitled to the presumption of innocence, and he has strenuously denied these allegations.
Now, Reen Hidding's seat of Lyons is now vacant, so there will be a recount for that position. It's the government's second resignation and recount since last year's election. It's certainly a headache, with Parliament due to resume in 2 weeks. Now, on those allegations themselves, Rachel, police say they're sending officers interstate to take a person's statement as they investigate those claims. OK, thank you for that update on that matter, Louise. Louise Hedger joining us there. Well, now, as we heard, there's already a recount for another seat in State Parliament. Late today, Joan Ryler was revealed as the replacement for disgraced former Braddon MP Adam Brooks. Sean McComish joins us now. Sean, what happened in today's recount?
Rachel, a short time ago, the Tasmanian Electoral Commission confirmed that Joan Ryler will replace Adam Brooks following a ballot recount. Of course, she also served as a Braddon MP, but just missed out on re-election last year. All of this started a fortnight ago when Mr Brooks stepped down, citing health concerns. That resignation came after a scandal involving his use of personal emails and his business connections during his time as mining minister, although a report last year found he didn't breach the ministerial code of conduct. Counting was underway for most of today. Let's have a quick listen to the Electoral Commissioner now.
We've got about 17,500 physical ballot papers that we are going through. These are all ones that went to Mr Brooks, and so it's the people that voted for him to get a replacement. So although it's 17,000 ballot papers, it's about just under 11,000 votes.
I spoke with Joan just a short time ago. She says her priorities will be getting up to speed on local issues and focusing on major projects such as wind farms and roads. Rachel?
A 60-year-old man from Port Sorell has died as the result of a single-vehicle collision on Squeaking Point Road at Thelston this afternoon. Our reporter Jessica Moran has more.
Emergency crews responded to the scene here at around 2:30 to find the ute had collided with a tree. Firefighters worked to remove the 60-year-old driver from the car who was killed in the crash. Police say it's still unclear what happened in the moments leading up to the collision, but say there are no obvious signs of skid marks, the road is in good condition, and it's too early to tell if speed was a factor.
This is the weather's good, the conditions are fine, it's a good stretch of road. That will form part of our investigation, and obviously this will be reported through to main roads and state roads, to have this section of road looked at, but it's not notorious for anything else apart from a good natural road.
It's the second fatal crash for the North in as many weeks, with a 31-year-old male from East Devonport killed on the 15th at Wesley Vale.
We live in a small town, a small state. Any accident that involves a fatality is a concern, but it's also, we've got to remember the families involved, that it's quite a heartfelt and tragic time for them as well.
This now brings the state's road toll to 4 compared to 7 this time last year. A report will now be prepared for the coroner.
A fast-moving fire has flared at Brighton this afternoon, triggering a watch and act alert. Just before 2 o'clock, it was reported northeast of Brighton near the Midland Highway. Water-bombing aircraft attacked the fire as it consumed dry grassland and hay bales. Nearby landholders wrangled horses as the situation unfolded. The fire alert has been downgraded to advice and there is currently no immediate threat. It's been almost 50 years since young Tasmanian woman Lucille Butterworth was last seen. Her devastated family is still searching for closure. Despite authorities shutting down the case 3 years ago, Lucille's brother has started diving the river in New Norfolk.
Searching for answers, John Butterworth diving in the Derwent River trying to find any clue of his sister.
Well, I've just decided that basically for my own peace of mind, to come here.
This year is 50 years on since Lucille Butterworth was last seen at this bus stop in Claremont. Her body has never been found, but John says while the visibility is very low here, he's confident he can find something. Police dives were conducted further up the river, but not in this spot.
Something might be, stuck or wedged underneath one of the logs, like maybe a clasp that was on her purse.
John, an experienced recreational diver, says her loss still haunts the family, using his skills to try and find any trace of where she could be.
It's a peace of mind for us and the family. It's the last vestige of hope.
The investigation was one of Tasmania's longest-running unresolved cases. In 2016, a coroner handed down findings that said the then 22-year-old died at the hands of Jeffrey Charles Hunt, but he was never charged.
Well, first of all, we want justice for Lucille, and we want to lay her to rest. And we'd also like to think that the law enforcement may take it a little further.
This search today shows the dedication Lucille's family has to finding some closure. Although the case has been shut down by the DPP due to a lack of enough evidence for a criminal trial, her family says they'll never give up.
I promised Mum and Dad that I wouldn't give up, and I won't give up. None of the family will give up.
If anyone has any information on this case, no matter how small, details can be given to Crime Stoppers anonymously.
To some you are forgotten, to others a thing of the past, but to us who have loved and lost you, you are always in our hearts.
Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
A Melbourne jockey remains in a stable condition in hospital after a dramatic fall in Launceston yesterday. Ryan Bishop took a fall during race 5 of the Tasmanian Oaks Day. He was taken to the Launceston General Hospital and it's expected a review will be launched by the Office of Racing Integrity. A second electricity cable crossing Bass Strait has taken another step. Similar to Basslink, Marinus Link would allow Tasmania to import and export energy, potentially up to 12,000 megawatts. An early feasibility study released today suggesting the project could cost between $1.3 and $3.1 billion. It highlights the Burnie or Sheffield areas as the most favourable connection points. A final feasibility study is expected in December, with the government pledging another $56 million to the project. The use of insanity pleas in Tasmania's justice system is being put under the microscope. There's concerns some appearing before the courts may be unfit to stand trial and are simply pleading guilty.
To understand insanity pleas in Tasmania, you'll need both a history book and a law book.
So the law of insanity in Tasmania dates from an 1800s case in England and really hasn't updated since then.
Now the laws themselves are on trial. A new issues paper is looking at both the fitness to stand trial and the law of insanity.
We're trying to work out, is there a need to change the law in Tasmania to improve the operation of the criminal justice system from the point of view of a fair trial?
Only a handful argue a defence of insanity. Just 3% of those in the Supreme Court over the past 13 years. Those deemed insane by a jury in a criminal trial are found not guilty, but can be detained on restriction orders. But there's concern about the process after that.
Our concerns are that the transition for these patients on restriction orders to supervision orders can be quite onerous and time consuming.
The paper is open for public submissions until May 24. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Horse stables from all over the country have converged on the Inveresk showgrounds in the hopes of purchasing the next Winx or Maccabi Diva at the annual Magic Millions yearling sales. Breeders from around the state also putting their best stock forward.
This day normally turns over close to $1 million for our business, so it's extremely important. There's 2.5 years worth of work just to get these horses here for sale.
Well, we come across with a view to try and fulfil a dream and buy a champion racehorse. It's a bit of a lottery.
And buyers weren't shy when it came to the price either, with some horses going for more than $100,000. Some elderly Tasmanians have put their best foot forward by turning their aged care facility into their own Relay for Life course, raising funds and awareness for Cancer Council Tasmania, with one special resident losing her locks for the cause.
A buzz of excitement as this centenarian's white hair gets brushed off her shoulders. At 101 years of age, Doris Thackeray is switching up her look.
Have a look at yourself. Oh my God.
Raising valuable funds for a cause hitting close to home.
Just lost my daughter in with cancer. And I've got my own daughter's very sick with cancer. So it's been very close to my heart for years.
The great-grandmother received a pink ribbon tattoo last week, and this is the second time she's taken to the Clippers to fundraise for the Cancer Council Tasmania.
Well, I did it last year, all for the good of the cause. Why not do it again this year?
The other residents racking up laps around the Lillian Martin Uniting Age Well facility as Relay for Life is brought inside for a 5th year.
So I guess the impact is much more felt in these kind of communities, and this is why a celebration like this for Relay for Life is so important, to feel like you're doing something really, really positive and important to fight back against cancer.
With even one nurse taking the leap with Doris.
It's just a thing to do, really. It's to show people that I'm supporting them, people I know with cancer, but I am supporting them with what they're going through.
As long as we keep going year after year, even when I'm gone, as long as they keep going for the cancer, they've got to, because it's such a shocking thing.
The residence has raised around $4,000 so far. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
Meantime, participation in the sport is on the rise here at home, according to AFL Tasmania's latest figures, which show an overall rise of more than 6.5%. Despite losing several teams from the footballing landscape, club participation is also on the up, with AFL Tasmania crediting it to a rapid rise in female participation. Charlie Wakeham has starred with the bat in his first-class debut for Tasmania, scoring a century during Day 3 of the side's Sheffield Shield clash with South Australia in Adelaide. The visitors putting on a 467-run first innings total, with the Redbacks now back at the crease and trailing by 78 runs at stumps a short time ago. Starting the day 21 runs shy of his ton, Wakeham slowly but surely edged closer to the milestone, and after 245 balls faced at the crease, his patience and persistence paid off. Keen to raise the bat himself, Jake Doran fell 3 runs shy of doing so, caught off guard just centimetres out of the crease. McDermott picking up where he left off, dispatching Travis Head for back-to-back boundaries as the Tigers gathered some serious steam on the scoreboard. Not content with the ton, Wakeham continued to frustrate the home side's attack, McDermott channeling his big bash form, belting his way towards 50. His innings eventually brought to an end on 63, courtesy of Nick Winter, Wakeham following suit soon after, but not before contributing 160 runs to the cause in a first-class debut for the ages. The Aussie Test captain's impact not quite as prolific, managing just 14. From there, the rest of the order crumbled one by one, but the damage had already been done. The Redbacks beginning their second innings, trailing by 210 runs, with Bird striking in the first over to make life even more difficult for the home side. Football Federation Tasmania has a new look, with the organisation undergoing a rebrand. Now known as Football Tasmania, the peak body released its State of Play report today, outlining some of its biggest accomplishments over the past 12 months and also its biggest challenges, including a lack of up-to-date facilities throughout the state.
We believe that it's, as I mentioned, an inhibitor for growth, and we know that if we kind of can address that, we can really continue to grow right across the state.
And with a federal election on the cards, Football Tasmania says it will be calling on all political parties for additional support in the coming months.
Good evening. Hobart's temperature today was 13.5 degrees above average, recording 35 by 3 p.m. Launceston had 27, Burnie 22 and Devonport 23. It was basically warm all over today with no rain recorded. Ouse had 34 degrees, Campania 33 and Fingal 31, Strawn 30, King Island 29, Friendly Beaches 27, Lyawini warmed up to 26 and Flinders Island 25. An almost cloud-free Tasmania, except for a cloud band moving over to the southwest of the state. Now that cloud band does stretch back too to South Australia and also off to the southeast over the Southern Ocean. Low-level convective cloud sits over Queensland and the Northern Territory. Tomorrow a trough moves over northern Tasmania with a cold front off to the east. A high sits over the Central Bight, a trough along the WA coast and another over the east as well. Winds southerly at 15 to 25 knots, shifting easterly at similar speeds later to around 15 to 25 knots, swells below 2 metres. Looking at the forecast, Hobart, some morning drizzle clearing, 21 the top, 19 for Adventure Bay, partly cloudy for Tarraleah and 19. For Launceston, an afternoon shower, 26 the high, 24 for Devonport, a late shower as well, partly cloudy for Bridport, 24 the maximum. Burnie, a late shower, a top of 24 as well, 19 the high for Strawn, a little less than today, and 21 the top for Marrawar. And for St Helens tomorrow, we're looking at 21 degrees with a possible shower, a morning shower for Swansea with 20 and 24 for Whitemark on Flinders Island. UV high to very high. On Wednesday, a fine, mostly sunny day after the slight chance of a morning shower in the north, but good for the cup. Fine again on Thursday, other than a light shower over the northeast, and temperatures pushing upwards again on Friday. Maybe a morning shower over the east, and a quick look at Saturday. Hobart expecting 37 on the weekend. Further north tomorrow, a sunny 33 in Perth, even warmer in Adelaide, partly cloudy in Melbourne, 24 the top, fine for Canberra and Sydney, a possible shower for Brisbane. A light shower over Hobart at the moment, currently 19 degrees, 24 in Launceston, Devonport mostly sunny and 19. Bit of a warmth in the air for the next few days, Rach. Well, it is still summer officially.
I know we need to hang on to that last bit of summer. Thank you for that, Murph. Well, that's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.